Righto, got my piece of steel here, piece of leaf spring. Cut that piece out. I don't know if this is the best way to go, but this is what I'm going to be using. The overall length dimensions, I'm not going to give it to you in inches, I'll just do it in millimeters and you can convert it. 220 millimeters from that point to that point, 90 mil from there to there, which makes 115 along that edge. Haven't done that edge, but it's probably about 40 mil, 35 to 40 mil. Yeah, I'd say 40 mil. It's 55 mil from there through to here, and it's 30 mil through there. So what my intention is to use this 35 by 90 mil section to draw out right out here, so that I can draw out the shaft of the handle, the shaft that goes into the handle and through the timber handle, and then use this section to forge out the HoMi itself. Now this is also a 10 millimeter thick piece of leaf spring. Okay, I'm hoping to get the blade section out of this. It might be too much, I might end up taking some off the end of here. Not sure, because I've never made one before, and I'll see how I go. Righto, I'm moving to the large hammer now. 2 kilo hammer, so pretty heavy. I'm going to use the cross peen and try and get a bit more spread. That's the danger, that I get a lot of bounce doing it that way. But I think it might be worth it for the extra pace of spread. So I'm using this one to try and get that extra drawing out happening a bit faster. This is a reasonable sized hammer, but just nowhere near as heavy and aggressive. As you can see, the peen on that is quite aggressive compared to that one, which is more of a shallow radius. Good hammer though, other than the plastic handle. This one's heavy, wears you out, and if you're hitting it and you don't have it sitting perfectly flush when you hit it, you can get it bouncing up and you could wear it if you're not careful. Definitely lengthening out. That was only that long to start with, so I'll probably put an extra 50% length into it. Long way to go though. Bit of a mark running down there, so I might have to hit it from this side for a while rather than flipping it over onto that side. I'll bring this section down, bit of a channel there, and try and spread that bit out as well. It's about 170 to 175. Just a bit of an update on my hammer. Loving the hammer, rounding hammer. It's really good, it's hanging in there really well. No marks, no chips, nothing. Looks really good. Like the weight of it. It's nice and heavy, but not too heavy. Got a very long handle, so I can hold it out there if I want to really hit it hard, but I can hold it on the lump here if I'm trying to have a bit more control and ease the pressure on my elbow a bit. The only thing I'm having is an issue with the way I handled it. So the wedge I've got was a homemade wedge. I'm not very happy with that. Hasn't turned out to be fat enough at the top. I've made it a bit too tapered, and I'm getting the handle just moving a little bit towards the end, and every couple of times I go through a heat, I have to just give it a bit of a hit, drops it back down again. So I'm going to fill this with epoxy, 5-minute epoxy once I've finished today, and let that go off for 24 hours, and hopefully that'll stop it moving. There's a few gaps that go down the side of my wedge here and here, as well as this gap in the middle, and I'm hoping I can get it to trickle down there and secure it. Because of the issue I explained with my handle on my hammer, I'm going to go back to this one for a little while. Don't want the handle coming off. I've got most of the movement happened now, so Probably 185 now. Right, I'm going to try and just kick this round, but on the edge here, I'm just going to close this up a little bit so that I've got a workable width. She's too thick still, so I'm going to try and draw out with the peen, cross peen, that way and that way. But I just want to work on this here first in order to get it nice and even at transition. Right, spreading that a little bit, got some grooves in there, so I'll work them, once I get it hot again, work them with ball, with the rounding side of the hammer, and try and smooth those and those out, so try and get a bit of crossover action happening. So, now I've got to start trying to forge that out. What I might do is just try and clean this up in here by heating this end up, getting it over the horn, and just trying to round that up a little bit. That has cleaned up that transition corner here a lot, and we've got a general shaft, and then this is the section that will stick through the handle. It's not going to be that thick, I'm going to have to thin it down even more, but I want to leave it thick enough at the moment to be able to get a good grip on with these tongs so that I can work this side, this end here. So that's where we're up to. There we go. Not looking too bad at all. No stress fractures in the corner there, which I'm really pleased about. Don't want to work that too much harder than what I have already. I'm going to have to thin this down a bit in this area as part of the forming out of the actual HoMi blade itself. Did a bit of an epoxy job on the handle here, hoping that will stop it from shifting. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to start by just cleaning up the area of the transition between the neck and the blade. So just clean this area up first, and then I'll move on to trying to forge out the blade. Right, that gets that transition area pretty well even all the way. So now I can have a go at trying to forge this area out. Right, now what I've got to do is turn this so that the handle runs more along the line of this and then out. So instead of along the line of there, I want it to come out here. So I'm going to have to straighten this bit out, bending that down. That's looking much better on the end now. Nice and square. I want it to be square so it doesn't twist inside the handle. Okay, just bringing the blade up to temperature now so that I can normalise it, and then I'll heat it up again and anneal it. I want to be able to harden the blade but not the handle. think that's looking pretty good. Good enough for this job, that's for sure. Rightio, marked 20mm along there. Just going to cut that off now. So yeah, got that ready to go, and then I've taken a piece of spotted gum and fashioned out a type of handle. I'll just get that out of the way. It's very sharp on that edge so I don't cut myself. Fashioned out a bit of a handle. Wish I had a lathe, I could do it properly. I've done it on the belt grinder, bringing it in on this side, done a bit of a furrow at either end. So that'll be my handle there. So the HoMi itself will slide in there. Of course, it's a square shaft, so it'll secure itself in there and won't rotate. So I'll get that red hot. I've got my 6mm hole here. This is probably about 7 or 8mm thick here, so it should burn in nicely. Get it really hot and then drive that in until it sticks through just on the end there. So then this, which is a little bit out of shape, I tried to shape this up to the same shape as it so that it fits pretty snug. Yeah, around about there. So that will slide. Flies. So that will slide on there. But first I'm going to soak the spotted gum in some oil first, a bit of linseed oil, just to keep the water out of it, stop it getting wet, getting dry, getting wet, getting dry, and then opening up cracks and things. So I'll soak that in the linseed oil for a while before driving those on. Righto, sorry about the sun coming in behind me, probably stuffing with the picture quality, but just going to put a bit of linseed oil in there, drop that end in, top it up. I'll just leave that to sit there and soak for a while. Then after a while, I'll pick it out, flip it over, stick it back in, the other way around to get it sucking up the end grain that way. Last thing I've got to do is just clean up this bit of a burr on the inside of there. Clean it up with this fire here. Doesn't need much. It's just a few gentle strokes. Righto, I think that's going to go on all right. Right, so now all I've got to do is get my pipe back out and tap that down a bit. The best way to go about it is to cut a piece off, and so I can always reuse those bits anyway, this bit anyway, for more collars in the future. So I'll now can line that up and give it a tap until I'm happy with where it sits. It's almost there, I reckon, for the back end, and then I can dome this. It's sitting really nicely all the way around, nice and tight in around there and around there, and I can always sand that to round it off. Right, I've got this set up here ready to try and install the handle, so it will go on located like that. So I've got that brace there ready to go. I've got my hammer here ready to grab it, bring it out, slide it in, tighten it up, that down, on, hit. May as well have that there and that there. And she's pretty hot, so I'm going to give it a go. Right, just need to stop that from getting any hotter. Unfortunately, the little end bit there that I was going to peen over got a bit too cold and snapped. But otherwise, once it's cleaned up, I think that's pretty good. Righto guys, well I've managed to get it finished. Didn't get all of it on video, the final fit up, but don't think you need to see that. Saw most of the process, and you'll be able to see what it looks like in the end. I'll have a few close-ups of the finished product, but I'm pretty happy for a first effort at a traditional Korean HoMi. There's a couple of people that I need to thank in relation to making this tool. First of all, I'd like to thank one of my subscribers, and a subscriber to a lot of blacksmiths channels on YouTube. That's Govinda. Thank you very much for putting me onto a Korean blacksmith who put up a video of making one of these HoMis. Now I will put a link in the description below to the video that I watched to assist me in making this tool, and that video was put up by a Korean gentleman by the name of Blacksmith Jang, Jang. I had a brief chat to him when I saw his video and asked him what sort of material he used, what thickness material he used. He told me he was using spring steel and that it was pretty much 8 to 9 mil thick steel. And I watched his video and took it from there. So thank you very much, Blacksmith Jang. I recommend you go look at his channel. He's got some good videos on there for making gardening tools and various other things he's got on his channel. But for most of us blacksmiths, these tools that he's making would be of interest. So I've adapted it a little bit from his design. His is a traditional one. I'm not saying this is the dimensions of a traditional HoMi. He tells me that this is a Joseon HoMi. I'm probably pronouncing that very badly. It's Korean, so Joseon HoMi. So Joseon. I'm guessing it's Joseon. He can correct me, or a Korean person can correct me if I'm not pronouncing that right. So this is a traditional Korean Joseon HoMi, but I'm not claiming to have all of the angles and dimensions perfectly correct, but this is the way I saw the finished product on his video. Thanks very much for watching. I'm really happy to be back in the forge working again. Hopefully I can try and get some work done on the weekends when I'm not at work. Soon I'll be going on to a 10-day roster, so 10 days on, 4 days off. I'm hoping every 10 days I'll be able to get into the workshop on 1 or 2 of those 4 days off and get some tools made, get some jobs done, and get some videos made, put them out for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. If you're enjoying the channel and you haven't already done so, please hit the subscribe button and make any comments you'd like to down below, and any questions, and I'm happy to respond. Thanks again for watching Forge Right, and I'll see you next time. Bye.